our parents every day, it hasn't really necessarily been easy. And I know also kind of with my stance on politics and what I want to do in the future, I always get hit with the, well, politics isn't that good of a thing, it's dirty now, all these things. What can you tell me, a young person who wants my foot in the door, who wants to do things in politics? What could you tell me right now with the false sense of hope that people are giving me?
It's a nice, easy question to take us out. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your story. I'm glad that you're here. You mentioned one of the things that young people and all of us are witnessing right now. I mentioned these Gestapo tactics, really unprecedented. When I watched the young woman who I think was a graduate student at Tufts, who committed the awful crime of writing an opinion piece in her student newspaper about the war in Gaza, and somebody from like a second or third story apartment window captures a scene on video of these agents, masked, plain clothes, never showing a warrant, do not have a badge, whisking her up off the street. My daughter is 17 years old. If a bunch of guys jumped out of a van looking like that and captured her and threw her into the van, I would assume she was being kidnapped, that she might be tortured, that they may kill her. I mean, who knows what they're doing, because this is not supposed to happen in the United States of America. It is happening in the United States of America, and it's not just Tufts students and Columbia students and Harvard students. In the immigration courtroom in the federal building in El Paso, Texas, when immigrants who may have been in the position that your father was years ago are dutifully reporting back, as they're supposed to do every year or every so many years as green card holders, for their interviews, they are being taken into custody, they are being processed at lightning speed, and they're being deported out of this country without any contact with their families. Now, in some cases, they have been here for 20 or 30 or 40 years, working jobs. Let's admit that no one born in this country is willing to work, contributing far more in Social Security, property taxes, income taxes, in benefits. And so, similar to some of the questions we've been asked earlier, if we are silent in the face of all this, we're complicit. And what Trump is betting when he attacks immigrants, or when he attacks trans Americans, or when he attacks some group that he figures unpopular and one that you won't want to associate with, that he'll pick us apart one by one by one. And that's why it is so incredibly important that we literally, physically stand with one another. In those same immigration courts in El Paso, where these people are being illegally detained and captured and deported, there are everyday citizens just such as yourself, and I'd encourage you to do this if you're not already doing it, at the federal courthouse here in Kansas City, who are showing up and they are bearing witness to what is happening, and they are testifying, and they're grabbing the cell phone number of that person's closest relative so they can call them and let them know that their husband or their mother or their wife or their son is in detention, so that we can try to track them down. We need to see more Democratic leaders, more leaders, period, who cares about the party, doing this as well. I think that is inspiring to me. That's the kind of person that I want to follow. And the last thing that I'd say is, not only are you old enough to vote, for which we're grateful, you're old enough to run for office. And we are if I can give you advice, it is do not wait your turn. Do not stand in line. Do not hope that someone will do it against you.
Okay, right over here at the den, I have a